This is UMAR Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global, joined by Sam Jones via Zoom. How you doing, Sam?
I'm not too bad, mate. You?
All well, thank you. Just wanted to get a few updates from your stable. We'll talk about it, of course, but obviously we'll start with some big news last night. Obviously, Jarrell Miller reportedly has failed another drugs test. Just your reaction and thoughts on this, Sam?
I kind of gave my reaction on Twitter yesterday. It's more sad than anything because you've met him many times as well, haven't you, Mark? And I think you know him as well. The sad thing about sorry, my phone battery.
Right.
The sad thing about it is, Umar, is that he's a good guy. He's a good person to talk to. He's a laugh. He's fun, but he just don't belong in boxing. He can't. He's finished in boxing in my eyes. He can't get another chance. It's just inexcusable. I don't care what he's failed for. He should have been the most strict ever. If he comes out and gives an explanation that it's I don't care what he's failed for, he needs to go. And as I say, as a person, I can't look at him and think, oh, I hate him because of this. Because if I saw him, I'd still say hello to him. Do you know what I mean? I'd still speak to him, but he doesn't belong in boxing. That's it. It's obviously a mental thing that he needs performance-enhancing drugs to get through the fight, because there's no way, unless you're completely thick, to do that, because he ruined the payday against Joshua, which was millions. And then now I know he's had a great deal with Top Rank as well, really solid promotional deal. Top Rank, he's let people down as well. Do you know what I mean? He's let Top Rank down, who've invested, who've literally put their neck out for him and gave him a great deal. His other promoter, Dimitri Salita, who was backing him well. Just everybody. He's just let, and more importantly, he's embarrassed himself again. He was already embarrassed the first time, but I don't think you're going to see Jarrell Miller in a boxing ring ever again. And if you do, then the sport becomes a joke, in my opinion.
I'll reiterate what you said at the start. He is a top guy. Whenever I've been around Jarrell, a lovely guy. But as you said, do you think now any managers or promoters are going to work with him again? Obviously, we see
No,
a second chance, but yeah,
that's the scary thing, Umar, because you just don't know. But if it was me personally, no way, because and the reason why I mentioned that at the start about him being, I speak to him and stuff, because all the bravado and stuff, Joe, with the backwards and forwards of Joe, it's kind of for show, do you know what I mean? It's there's no, I get on with him. I speak with him. Do you know what I mean? Every time I go to the States, I'll as I say, I'll meet up with him. Do you know what I mean? But you can't defend that. You just cannot defend. It's impossible. He cannot step foot in a boxing ring again, or again, the sport becomes a complete joke.
Are you disappointed on a personal note, because obviously this could have been a good fight for Joe-Joyce in the future?
I'm disappointed. Yeah, of course, it's a fight with Joe that, believe me, could have happened next year. So yeah, of course I'm disappointed in that front. But now I'm looking at it his whole career's got to be put into question, hasn't it? His whole career's got to be put into question. If I was, there's an argument to say all of his wins should be null and void. It's that serious. The man has failed. I think he failed a test in kickboxing. He's failed 3 tests before he fought Joshua, and now on his first fight back in a 6-figure deal he had with Top Rank, he's failed a test. I honestly cannot process it. The only thing I can think of is that it's a mental thing for him, and he cannot perform in a boxing ring without taking the drugs.
Mm. All right, I mentioned Joe, and we had some good news on his fight with Daniel Dubois, October the 24th. Yeah. You just must be delighted, and obviously Joe's have a date in pencil now.
Yeah. Joe's got we should have another announcement pretty soon about Joe getting out again before that fight. So Joe for me, I spoke to Frank and George and Francis, speak to all 3 of them. We're all in agreement that Joe has not been in a boxing ring through no fault of Queensbury, no fault of ours and no fault of Joe's. He's not been in the ring since July of last year. So he needs a fight. Joe needs a fight, and we don't want a guy with 20 losses. We would want a guy that would come and give him a few rounds and test him. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully we can get we can have some sort of announcement in a week or so that Joe's definitely gonna get back in the ring again. But yeah, it's great news regarding the Daniel Dubois date, because look, that's the Joe. As I say, I tweeted this earlier. When Joe's always said to me, make fights that the fans want. I'll fight anybody as long as the fans want it. As long as the fans want it, I'm happy to. And that's what we did with the Dubois fight. All the fans, as irrelevant as I am, people say, Sam, make the Dubois fight. Make the Dubois fight. So we've made it. We've given the fans what they want, and hopefully in October you're gonna see a huge all British showdown that the fans deserve. When was the Jennings fight? December, wasn't it, last year? No, it was not December last year. It was in the summer of last year. It was on the Gorman Dubois show, which is I think it was July. June. Yeah. So it's been it'll be over a year. Wow. Yeah, because Joe was scheduled to fight Marco Huck in January. Marco Huck pulled out. We then went straight back into the Dubois fight. Went straight to Vegas, sparring, ready to go. Coronavirus, Dubois fight off. So Joe's have no luck at all. So Joe deserves more than anybody in the world right now a fight to especially get the cobwebs off. Yeah, I guess if you didn't have an interim fight, going into a ring with Daniel Dubois after 14 months of inactivity wouldn't be the brightest thing. So it wouldn't be smart on my point. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be smart on my behalf. Like, as I say, no matter what, we are contracted to fight Daniel Dubois. That's the fight that Joe wants. So that fight's going to happen. But Joe needs a run. I'm sure Daniel may want a run out, but Daniel's had 2 fights since the last time Joe fought. So Daniel's okay. Joe's 34 years old, and he's not boxed for nearly a year, just over probably a year now. So he needs a fight. Simple as that. What sort of level are we looking at, Sam, for this intermediate? I assure you, it will not be someone with 10 losses on their record. It'll be someone solid that's going to come and have a go at him. Okay. LaRon Richards signing up with Dave Colwell. How did this come about, Sam? I'm really happy, right? That because I know Dave and LaRon was speaking before just as friends. I know Dave Colwell very well, so I just think something just happens naturally. It's happened very naturally. LaRon was out training with Salas, and like we would have like, it was always an option to get him with Salas, but right now LaRon needs stability in his life. He's British and Commonwealth champion. His last performance was good, not great. It was good, yeah. And I believe linking up with Dave Colwell, who is a world-class coach. He is a world-class coach. He's a proven, tried and tested coach. And I'm not just saying this because I know people think I'm biased in my fights. LaRon Richards, Callum Smith, Billy Joe aside, because they're world champions. So I can't put LaRon in that bracket. But other than that, LaRon's the best super middleweight in the country. From what you've seen in the gym and what other fighters say, do you think he's near world level, Sam? Not in terms of what he's done in the ring in fights. Listen, Umar Sadiq was laughing when LaRon said, "Oh, I'm world level." And in some respects, what Umar was saying, there's an argument there. But Umar Sadiq's not a stupid guy. He's a very, very smart guy who I really like, by the way. But he's not a stupid guy. He knows the talks. Boxing's a small community. LaRon Richards is the real deal, and he's just not had it brought out of him yet. LaRon's won all of his fights so far on autopilot, just on shit. And to win a British and Commonwealth title on autopilot is a pretty special fighter. Dave Colwell is going to bring him to that next level, and I believe LaRon Richards is going to be an elite level fighter. You're back. Just the last one on Sadiq and Richards. Obviously, he was saying as a British champion, LaRon isn't hugely known yet. Did he have a point there? Yeah, probably. Yeah, most likely. As I keep saying, LaRon's profile could do with being bigger. which we're working on. I'm personally trying to work. We're gonna have there's a good thing coming for LaRon as well as a fight. There's some more news coming from on his behalf. But that's what we're working on. When I signed him, I said we need to get your profile bigger, and I believe I'm pushing that as well. And he will admit that as well. We're working on it. We're working on his profile, but it all comes down to your performances in the ring as well. And LaRon, because people say, oh, he's a boring fighter. Listen, many great fighters in the past have been called boring fighters, but LaRon definitely needs to win better than what he's been winning. Like the Lennox Clark fight. Lennox Clark is a good fighter, by the way, but LaRon should have. He had a chance to stop him in, I think, the fourth or fifth round, and LaRon just carried on. And then Lennox Clark clawed his way back into the fight a little bit, and it was close and close. LaRon clearly won the fight. Do you know what I mean? Anyone with half a boxing brain knew he won the fight, but it was too close for comfort for such a how he started the fight. And LaRon's, I understand if you say, "Oh, LaRon's not well," no, he's not, but he will be, and it will come with performances, and he's got to do a job on UMAR Sadiq. He's got to do a job on UMAR Sadiq, and I wholeheartedly believe he will do that.
Sam, quick question back to Dubois-Joyce. Have you had any indication from the Warrens? I know it's hard to say now, but how many potentially the O2 could hold for that fight?
No, UMAR, because we don't know what the government's going to set out with. But we're hoping the way this country is going, the death rate is falling. Thank God, the infection rate is falling. We're hoping by then we're going to have a crowd. We're going to have a crowd. That's what we're hoping.
Not a full one, surely.
We just don't know, UMAR. We don't know. I can't tell you there'll be one person there, let alone 20. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to predict. I can't give you information that Boris Johnson's not giving you. Do you understand what I mean? We're hoping we're going to get the fight on and have it in front of a crowd at the O2 Arena, like what the fight deserves.
Sam, another talking point in boxing at the moment is obviously Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte going at each other. They're probably doing it right now. What have you made of the back and forth between the pair of them?
The build-up would be sensational for the fans. The build-up to that fight, if that fight ever would be sensational. Do you know what, right? If there's, and this is not me just saying it, Tyson Fury is a friend of mine for years, yeah? And he's the premier heavyweight in the world. Any man can be beaten, especially in the heavyweight division, but he's the premier heavyweight in the division. But Dillian Whyte deserves his time in the sun. Do you know what I mean? Dillian Whyte deserves that fight. If he said Dillian Whyte fight got made over, say, an AJ fight or the Wilder trilogy, no one can turn their nose up at that. Dillian deserves his chance at fighting for the world heavyweight title against the best heavyweight in the world. That's my opinion. And all this backwards and back and forth and stuff. Listen, it's got everyone interested. It's got you speaking to someone irrelevant like me about and asking my opinion about it. So they're doing something right. They're building the fight. The fight's going to be massive. I would be more excited to see the build-up between Dillian Whyte against Tyson rather than Joshua Tyson. Not saying I'd rather see the fight, but I'm saying the build-up alone would be fantastic.
What about the fight itself? Comparing Joshua.
I don't want to give my prediction on that, but
no. I'm saying, do you think Fury-Whyte? There's an argument saying that's a better fight than Fury Joshua. Is there an argument to say that?
Dillian deserves the fight. I personally think, I don't know, because Tyson, as I say, I don't want to get drawn into that, what I think would happen. But look, Dillian Whyte's got a chance against anyone in the heavyweight division because his raw determination, he's a tremendous body puncher, and he's got underrated boxing skills. He's the most improved heavyweight in the world, in my opinion, Dillian Whyte. He really is. But I just have Tyson. He's the Cristiano Ronaldo of heavyweights, Tyson.
Sam, let me ask you about this poster that was circular around social media with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, and then you had Fury, Joshua, and Dubois and Whyte. Did you find it a little bit disrespectful that Dubois was there and Joe wasn't on the poster? What do you think of it?
No, because when Joe stops Daniel Dubois, all that nonsense will stop.
Okay, fair enough. Any updates on your other fighters? What's happening with Cody Dover, Sam?
So Cody, we're going to hopefully get out back end of August. Listen, Cody's got I wouldn't say he has to rebuild, because he lost the fight due to a stupid decision of him going to super middleweight. He should never have done that. He fought an eliminator against Zach Chelly at light heavyweight. So he didn't need to do that. We've all made the mistake. I mean, as I say, I'm his manager, Adam's his manager, Gavin's his trainer, and Cody's the fighter. So collectively, we've lost. So we move on, and we campaign at light heavyweight, and we aim for the British title next year. Cody's going to have one comeback fight, and then he'll fight anyone in the division domestically.
I know you spoke to Coogan about this, saying that, you know, John Hedges, we're not going to put him on the Matchroom back garden stuff. But was there any sort of thought or consideration of perhaps doing that, Sam?
I'll tell you I promise a funny story, right? I swear to God. I was fishing, yeah, on, I'm trying to think what day it was. Friday or Thursday or Friday, I was fishing, yeah, in the canal. I was fishing with my dad. He can vouch for me on this. And Eddie Earn messaged me on WhatsApp. So I read the message. I listened to a voice note message. And as I was reading it, I fell in the canal. I dropped my rod and I fell in the canal. No joke. Waist high. Fuck. Honest to God, I had there was a Calippo floating on the surface next to me. I was like, this is just like as I'm listening to this, I managed to keep hold of my phone, didn't drop my AirPods. I was listening to his voice note. And it's basically, Eddie was saying to me that there's a potential opportunity for John to possibly fight in the Matchroom HQ, or it's going to be September. So you could see John at the debut of John Hedges sooner rather than later. And this kid's going to be a superstar. I promise you all.
Okay. Who else have you got? Lou Edmondson?
Louis Edmondson, he's been struggling with an injury, but we're hoping to get him out back end of August, early September. Florian Marcoux, we're in talks with a few different promoters, potential fight dates. So we're looking to make some big moves for Florian, so we can have a good end to the year and then a huge start to 2021. Guido Vianello is going to fight in July. Announcement's going to be next week. This coming week, he's going to fight again. I mean, he's becoming a proper star now, Guido. He's especially at home in Italy. They're desperate for him to come back to Rome and fight. So yeah, Guido's going to get all my fighters going to be active. All my fighters, it's a credit to great promotion, good management. All our fighters are going to be active.
All right, Sam. Good talking to you. I'm sure we'll have another catch up soon. All right, take care.
Nice one, I hope you well, mate. Take care.
Good, mate. Bye.